Lost generation. A generation of people born sometime between 1883 and 1900. These people came of age before or during World War I. The term was popularized by Gertrude Stein and Ernest Hemingway. Gertrude Stein first used it to describe young men returning from the front who had lost faith in traditional values and had difficulty returning to normal life. Hemingway included the term as an epigraph to his novel And the Sun Rises, which contributed to its widespread use. This generation was characterized by deep psychological trauma caused by the horrors of war. Many of them could not find their place in post-war society, leading to alcoholism, mental disorders, and even suicide. They are also referred to as the unaccounted-for victims of war, the greatest generation. This is a term coined by American journalist Tom Brokaw in 1998. It describes the generation of people born between 1900 and 1927. These people grew up during the Great Depression and participated in World War II or worked on the home front supporting the Allied effort. Brokaw believed that this generation was characterized by special resilience, dedication, and patriotism. They did not seek glory or recognition, but fought for a just cause and the common good. This generation contributed greatly to the victory in World War II and the subsequent economic recovery. Many people then first learned about radio and movies, so this was a golden time for Hollywood. Many things became widespread and many people used them for the first time. The silent generation. People born between 1928 and 1945. This generation grew up during the Great Depression and World War II, which had a significant impact on their outlook and behavior. People of this generation were used to hardships and learned to overcome them patiently. They worked hard and often saved money for a rainy day. Growing up in conditions of economic instability and war, they valued stability and order. In times of political repression, such as McCarthyism in the United States, they preferred not to express their opinions openly, which gave this generation its name. But despite their reticence, members of this generation became leaders of the civil rights movement and created the rock and roll music of the 1950s and 1960s and many other interesting movements. The baby boomer generation. People born between 1946 and 1964. The name of the generation refers to the dramatic increase in the birth rate after World War II, known as the baby boom. Baby boomers grew up during a period of economic boom and technological advances, which contributed to their optimistic outlook on life and desire for success. They often worked at the same job their entire lives, building a career with the same company. Baby boomers participated in significant social and political movements, such as the civil rights struggle and protests against the Vietnam War. This generation witnessed and participated in cultural revolutions such as the emergence of rock and roll, the hippie movement, and the sexual revolution. Generation X, people born between 1965 and 1980. The term was popularized by Canadian author Douglas Copeland in his book Generation X, Tales for an Accelerated Culture. Generation X grew up in an environment where both parents often worked, which fostered autonomy and independence in children. Due to economic crises and political scandals, which led to a skeptical attitude towards government and institutions. This generation experienced a dramatic change in technology and opportunities and could definitely feel the speed of technology. They changed jobs and careers frequently, which sets them apart from previous generations. Generation X made significant contributions to music, movies, and the arts. Generation Y, also known as millennials, includes people born between 1981 and 1996. This generation is also called the network generation because of the pre-internet era. Millennials have grown up in an era of rapid digital development. They actively use the internet, social media, and mobile devices. Millennials place a high value on education and constant self-development. The ETHL generation is actively involved in social and environmental initiatives. They care about the future of the planet and strive for sustainable development. Millennials value individuality and strive for self-expression. They actively use social media to showcase their accomplishments and interests. Millennials are active in movements for human rights, gender equality, and environmental sustainability. Generation Z, known as the Zoomers, it includes people born between 1997 and 2012, but that's not exact. They are the first generation to grow up in a fully digital world, which has had a significant impact on their outlook and behavior. Zoomers have been using the internet, smartphones, and other digital devices from an early age. They easily adapt to new technologies and actively use social media. Representatives of this generation are accustomed to performing several tasks at the same time, which is associated with the constant use of various gadgets and applications. This generation values individuality and strives for self-expression. They actively use social media to showcase their achievements and interests. Zoomers have grown up in the context of globalization and multiculturalism, which has made them more open and tolerant of different cultures and traditions. This generation is actively influencing the development of pop culture, music, movies, and art. They have witnessed and participated in the digital revolution. But there is still a lot to be explored, because this is one of the new generations. Generation Alpha. It includes people born between 2010 and 2020. It is the first generation born entirely in the 21st century, and its members are often the children of millennials. Generation Alpha has been using digital devices such as smartphones and tablets from an early age. They easily adapt to new technologies and actively use the internet and social media at a young age. This generation values individuality and strives to express themselves. They actively use social media to showcase their achievements and interests, sometimes even going overboard by spending more than 10 hours a day online. They have grown up with globalization and multiculturalism, which has made them more open and tolerant of different cultures and traditions, and given them a huge choice of subcultures and movements. This actively influences the development of pop culture, music, movies, and art. They spend a lot of time on social media and the internet, and have little interaction with people.